What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the podcast, A Court of Heaven and Hell. I'm Lauren, aka Heaven.
And I'm Ellie. I'm also known as Hel.
And if you don't already know, we are a book podcast that focuses on different romantasy series and novels. Right now, we are currently focusing on the Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. And today, we will be beginning our coverage of A Court of Wings and Ruin. We will be going through the prologue through chapter 5. Today's episode will include plot summaries of each chapter, discussions about the characters, foreshadowing, world building themes, and then finally, at the end, we will have our Massverse and theories portion. So just be aware that if you have read all of Sarah J. Maas's books, you will be good to listen to that last portion. Other than that, in the first part, we will be only talking about ACOTAR, the ACOTAR series. So you'll want to make sure that you have read all the books in that series specifically. And then we'll give another warning at the end when we get into our theories and connections where you are going to want to have read all the books in the Sarah J. Maas universe.
Please see our show notes for content and trigger warnings. We are an explicit podcast for adults. Check out our past episodes where we deep dive into the rest of the Massverse. And we also have plenty of episodes out rating and reviewing other popular romantasy novels. Lastly, take some time to rate and review us. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments. Now let's get into Wings and Ruin.
Period, queen. All right, here we go, guys. Oh my God, I can't believe we're back. It feels like forever since we've done this. Okay, with Court of Wings and Ruin, we start off with the prologue in Rhysand's point of view. It's 2 years before the construction of the wall, and Rhys is standing in a corpse-covered battlefield. He and an elite force of Illyrian warriors were able to fight beside the humans and stop Ravinia's armies from advancing, but not without great cost. Rhys is almost completely wiped out as he basically drained his magic and energy to guarantee their success. His side is currently losing the war, and this was a loss that would have meant the end. Not wanting to lose their human slaves, the Loyalists fought hard and dirty with no regard for customary Fey rules. Rhys almost lost the battle, but he did everything in his power to hold them off until his father sent reinforcements on the last day, changing the tide of the battle. They have no choice but to burn the bodies, especially since the Loyalists retreated, leaving their dead for them to deal with as well. Rhys, lost in the chaos of the battle, was unable to discern anything about the unit other than that they were Illyrian. He is concerned he has been unable to account for his brothers Cassian and Azriel. He doesn't know if they were on the battlefield or not. He assumes his father would not risk Az, who is very important to him as a spy, but believes he would put Cassian's life at risk just to hurt him. So beyond tired and dehydrated, Rhys continues walking miles and miles amongst the corpses, checking every Illyrian body, searching for his brother. Chapter 1. Back in Feyre's head, she is sitting in her art room painting possibly her best work of a thing she cannot stand. It's the rose garden, representing eternal spring and flowers, and Feyre couldn't be more disgusted. We learn that it has been several weeks since the incident at Hybern, and Feyre has been intricately crafting her demeanor and revenge plot. She knows it's not time to enact her plan yet, but she has not forgotten what the High Lord of Spring and his liaisons did to her and her sisters. We get a glimpse of just how proficient Feyre is with her powers before she hears Tamlin and Lucian coming and turns to an Oscar award-winning actress. They come to tell her that Ianthe has accepted her invitation to explain her actions to Feyre, and she is coming to the Spring Court. Feyre goes to her new room to change, as the old one was uninhabitable due to one of Tammy Boy's tantrums and left to turn into a tomb in the few months that she had been away. She is now across the hall from Lucian, and she knows it's so he can keep his mechanical eye on her. She meets Lucian in the hall wearing one of the frilly spring court dresses and allows him to escort her. He is still slightly suspicious of Feyre, but more than anything, he seems concerned for Elaine. He tries to get Feyre to give him more information, but she brushes him off, saying Rhys won't hurt her. At least not yet. Finally, they head to meet Ianthe so Feyre can hear her out and decide how to destroy her. He is sitting at the table looking down, and Feyre can only think about how she looks exactly the same, but this time she can see the viper hidden beneath the facade. She immediately comes up with a BS excuse about how she gave up her sisters as a favor to Feyre, believing she would want them with her forever. Feyre, disgusted, plays along and tells her it was wrong and she should not make a decision like that again, but allowing her to receive forgiveness and move forward with their alliance. Lucian seems more upset and speaks out more, but is chastised by Tamlin, who fully believes Ianthe's little act. Feyre does stand up for Lucian a little, saying he's right and sharing her concern for the people. Tamlin assures her that their people will be fine and have been moved to the east. This gives Feyre a tiny bit of information about where Hybern will be coming from, which she squirrels away before Tamlin finally shares the second reason they're having the meeting. Jurian will be there by noon the next day. In chapter 2, Feyre hasn't heard much about Jurian since finding out the King of Hybern had used the cauldron to resurrect him. She believes he is mad from his time spent in the ring and doesn't know how Tamlin and Lucian can't see it, but also acknowledges that they don't seem to care that the king has the cauldron in the first place. Tamlin, keeping true to his word to include Feyre, explained that Jurian would be coming with 2 commanders to examine the wall for the best place to strike once the cauldron is returned to its full power. Apparently, it was drained after turning Feyre's sisters. Feyre finally shares her plans and information down the mating bond with Rhys, something she is cautious of and has only done once since returning to the Spring Court. She doesn't want to risk someone discovering the truth. The bond is still there, but seems weakened. Going to meet Jurian, Feyre uses her winter abilities to remain calm and resist showing the rage in her heart towards him. However, the 2 twins he has with him are much more fear-inducing. Very much giving a black-haired Jaime and Cersei Lannister, Jurian presents them as the King of Hybern's niece and nephew, Princess Branagh and Prince Dagden. Remembering to keep up the act, Feyre plays the amenable hostess and welcomes them, offering to help with whatever they need. Tamlin sees them staring at Feyre and makes a snide comment, to which Jurian responds that they are just intrigued by the female who had a war started over her based on who she belongs to. Feyre uses the back and forth as a way to goad Jurian into pushing her to declare the Spring Court as her home, further convincing Tamlin of her love for him. At dinner, Feyre notes the weird behavior of the twins and how Dagden seems to wait on Branagh hand and foot as if they share one soul. She also sees that they are communicating quietly with each other and wonders if they are possibly Daemati like her. Branagh goes over their plans to visit the wall tomorrow, and Feyre volunteers Lucian and herself as their escorts. Tamlin agrees, which low-key disgusts Feyre because he's literally just serving up the humans to them on a silver platter, but she continues to play along. Changing the subject, Jurian questions Lucian about his eye, and the conversation devolves into an argument between the group. Feyre realizes that this is a distraction and throws up a mental shield around Tamlin and Lucian's mind, preventing the twins from getting in. She returns the act, going into their minds and gouging against their mental shields. Tamlin notices the sudden silence and asks what's wrong, but Feyre plays it off and returns to her food. Nobody speaks for the rest of the meal.
Chapter 3. The group heads off to show the weird ass twins where the holes in the wall are. They come across the one Feyre came through, and Lucian tells them that the other holes are in opposite direction with days of travel. They agree to plan to visit another hole in the wall another day. Stopping for a short break, Lucian tells Feyre that whatever she is planning will end them both up in shit. She notices his metal eye and wonders what he can see with it. Feyre thanks him for coming to get her from the King of Hybern's castle as the twins walk up and remind Lucian to not get too close to Feyre because they know what happens when someone touches the High Lord's belonging.
Ooh, shots fired.
Back at the stables, bitch ass Ianthe, she's back. She's waiting for them after making her grand entrance during breakfast. Lucian asks coldly, what does she want? And Ianthe says summer solstice is in a few days and she wants to throw a party and discuss it with Feyre. After she leaves, Feyre asks what happened between them two. Lucian says that Tamlin sat out during Calamine and he took his place and had to take Ianthe to the cave to do, you know, what, unfortunately. And that's why Anthe has seemed to back off of him some. She finally got what she wanted. Feyre tells him if she was there, she would have stopped that. And he answers with, quote, "You are a better friend to me than I ever was to you."
That's true.
Back in Feyre's room, Alice and her are prepping for the summer solstice. Feyre says she wants a gown of pink and green, which makes Alice look sideways at her, knowing that Feyre has never wanted to wear dresses in the first place. She whips out a night court outfit that she saved and tells her she was there the day Mor came to save her. Alice begged her to take her and keep her safe. Alice told everyone she was abducted and didn't admit what actually happened. And Feyre tries to pull Alice back in by saying that she was, in fact, kidnapped. Alice is not too sure of this, though, and tells Feyre she has connections to the servants at the summer court, her cousin, who told her when Feyre and the inner circle was there and that Feyre seemed happy for once. Feyre says she was under Rysand's spell, and Alice knows she's lying and just ask her whatever she is planning. Don't let it affect her family in the summer court. That was a long ass chapter. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Chapter 4. It is the day of the summer solstice, and once again, Ianthe is making this yearly celebrated event super extra. She wants everyone to wake up early to witness the sunrise, so Feyre dresses in a beautiful white gown and rides a white horse to the celebration. Ianthe and her acolytes start the ritual while Feyre knows exactly what is about to happen. Ianthe, on the past winter solstice, lifted her arms in the exact spot where the sun rose. So Feyre decides to mess this up for her at the summer solstice. Feyre is the one who is in the right spot, and she begins to glow in her all white dress while people gasp at her. She lets some of her day power shine, and people begin to bow to her, calling her blessed. The festivities continue as people all over the spring court hear Feyre being the blessed one. People are thanking her and crying at her. Feyre needs a moment to herself, so she retreats to her bedroom as she checks in with Rysand. He wants her to come home to him, but she said she will soon and that Hybern is here. She returns to the celebration, remembering how much fun she had last year during it, but everything is different now. She asked Tamlin to dance, which he is relieved by. He is concerned if Feyre is okay from this morning, and she says she is. They go to eat together under a tree while Feyre thinks about if Tamlin realizes that they will no longer have dancing or music when Hybern takes control.
Do you realize that?
No, literally.
Ass wipe.
Okay, chapter 5, our last chapter. As everyone retreats to bed, Feyre gets herself ready for yet another performance she needs to put on.
I love this part, dude.
She dresses in a scandalous, lacy sleeping dress and pretends to have a nightmare. Lucian, whose room is across from hers, knocks on her door to check on her. She tells him she had a nightmare about Under the Mountain, and she hugs him closely as she uses the summer court's powers to make tears. As Lucian and Feyre are hugging, Tamlin walks in and sees them practically half naked in each other's arms.
Woo!
Tamlin is obviously angry and upset as Feyre tries to explain to him that she had a nightmare. She knows in the past Tamlin has been insecure about Lucian and hers relationship and that he is now really nervous about the whole situation. She says to herself that she had a nightmare, but really she is the nightmare.
Woo! Period. Mic drop. Mic drop. Feyre was fucking shit up, bro.
Really
I was
was.
like, oh, you want to come for my family? Oh, okay. I got some for
Oh,
y'all. But all right, guys, there's plenty of stuff to talk about, mostly character focused, I would say. And this
mhm.
first few chapters, we get reintroduced to a lot of characters we haven't seen in a minute, haven't spent time with in a minute because Feyre's back in our original location. Definitely a lot to talk about there. And then we have a couple new people to talk about as well. So let's go ahead and get into it and start off with everybody's favorite fucking bitch ass character, Ianthe. Okay. So, what did you want to say about Ianthe?
I think the word cunt is really appropriate here. And not in a
Super.
good way.
I was like,
Not in a good way, because I like to use the word cunt as bitch that's cunt. Like,
yeah,
you're serving cunt. But no, not this time. Like, this bitch is a cunt. She sucks. I fucking hate her. She is atrocious. I cannot express how much I fucking hate Ianthe. The
trash, dude.
way trash, complete trash. The way that she literally tries to make every single thing about herself. Like, she had to have this grand entrance at fucking breakfast, and no one gave a fuck either. Everyone was just like, okay, this bitch is here. And she's just, oh my God, hey everyone. I'm here. I'm in your presence. You should love me. And everyone was just like, okay.
That's what makes it so good for me is because it's like it's in fucking Delulu. It's in her fucking head. Nobody else gives a fuck, bitch. Like all of this grandeur and all this shit is in your fucking head. Everyone's just,
Mhm.
can you sit down so we can talk about our plans? We've been waiting on you for 10 fucking minutes. In this case, Delulu is not the Salulu, okay? It's the fucking opposite of it. This bitch is crazy.
And the way that, okay, in I think it's chapter 4, when she makes everyone wake up early to witness the fucking sunrise. She has her acolytes literally put a rock
Mhm.
in the spot where the sun's gonna rise, so she can make sure she's standing there, so everyone thinks that she's the special one. But Feyre knows what she's doing, so she moves the rock, like, 5 feet to the side, so she's not in the right spot, but now Feyre is.
Yeah, I fucking love Feyre for that move. It's queen behavior. It's
Me
it's so smart and it's just cunning. And the fact that Ianthe's head is so far up her own ass, she didn't even notice. She doesn't even know. She's just, "Oh, it's gonna work. My servant, like my fucking servants put this shit here. It's gonna work." The way that Feyre fucks with Ianthe is just like it's the best to me. It's the best to me. My favorite scenes with Feyre and Ianthe haven't they come a little bit later in this book, but oh my
Mhm,
god, I love the way that Feyre is she's playing mind games. She's strong,
mhm,
right? She's powerful as fuck, but she didn't just go in here wreaking havoc. She's playing with these motherfuckers. I'm gonna destroy you from the inside out, and I'm gonna make you guys destroy each other. And I just think it's so funny. Nobody really likes her, but in her own fucking head, in her own delusion, she's that bitch. And it's no, sit the fuck down. Like, pipe down. Okay. Also,
literally.
she's a predator. Okay. She's a
Mhm.
literal predator and it's fucking gross. It's the ick. It's her
She's
character
everything
is
I
literally
hate.
terrible. I'm trying to think. She might be one of my least favorite characters in the Massverse, just overall.
Oh, 100%.
Because at least I have some respect for some of the other villains.
Mhm.
She wants to be Maeve, but she just is not. Like, Maeve actually is the
Yeah.
moment. Like,
Maeve is kinda cunt,
Yeah, in a
no?
good
Like
way, right, exactly, and that is the difference. Like, Maeve is serving cunt, and this bitch is serving cunt. Like, get the fuck away from me. Ew.
Yeah, she's a terrible person. I
Yeah,
hate Ianthe.
man.
I
Ugh, it's only
it's just
gonna
the
get
way it's
worse
gonna get
too.
worse from here, y'all. I'm so
It
sorry, but
only
it's
gets worse.
I'm like, "Read the room, bitch. No one here cares."
That's
Yeah,
the best part. It's the best part. She's fucking delusional. Oh my
alright,
god.
anyway.
Alright, so speaking of little bitches no, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, straight up. We
Oh,
get the greatest reappearance ever from
yeah.
another character that we absolutely fucking hate,
Mhm.
Tamlin.
Mhm. Oh god, he's back. And there's a few times where, like, I have to admit I feel bad for him, but then I'm also like, "You're an idiot, so I can't feel bad for you." You're so
Right.
fucking it's y'all are fucking Delulu. It's another example of somebody who wants so badly to believe this story that they've created in their own fucking mind that they can't even see what's right in fucking front of them. It's bitch, she doesn't like you.
Yeah, I totally agree. I hate him. I will say, unfortunately, I do have to say at least this again, bare minimum, at least he is letting Feyre be part of everything.
Yeah.
But he should have done that in the first fucking place. That's not really points for him, in my opinion. You should have
Mhm.
been doing that. It really took her having to leave
Yeah.
for you to be like, "Oh, I think I might have fucked up."
Yeah, it's like he's on his best behavior right now, but it's also, like, very
Mhm.
performative because he's trying to,
Yeah.
like, keep her, like, he understands that he fucked up, like you said, and so he's trying to keep her, so it's definitely very performative, and then also, it's the level of unintelligence. I'm like, "You're dumb, dude. I don't even understand." Like, Feyre straight up points out that he can't see through Ianthe's mask because he doesn't want to, but he also can't see through her mask. It's like, "How can you not see what the fuck is going
Mhm.
on? Open your eyes, dude." It's the same way
Literally.
you couldn't see what was going on with Feyre before. It's like he literally lives in his own fucking fantasy land and he's not paying attention to what's really going on around him. And then, like, every time I start to feel bad for him and I'm like, damn, Feyre really is like going hard. Like, she's really fucking him up. But then I'm like, oh, you killed the sentries that were on guard when she left. Oh, like, you turned into this person. Oh, you aligned yourself with fucking traitors as Hybern because you wanted your shiny toy back. I don't know. I can't. It's ugh.
I'm rolling my eyes forever to the back of my head that he literally is so aligned with Hybern after Hybern literally portrayed him. Look at him, but he
Yeah.
was like, "No, we'll still work with you."
Yeah, I know that
But
there's they later in the books, it's revealed that he was trying to do his own not betrayal, but like his own like he was trying to get close to Hybern
Mhm.
so he could get more information and
Yeah,
stuff. But it's you're also like putting all these people at risk and allowing all this stuff to happen. No offense, but you're
Mhm.
not smart enough to pull off that kind of espionage. Like, you need to like let that go. You needed to team up with Reese and actually like fight for the good people, because you're just not smart enough to like act out what you're trying to do. Like, you're not smart enough to accomplish it. I'm sorry. These people are 1,200 steps ahead of you. You can't even tell that you shouldn't be trusting Ianthe. The number one thing that should have never happened was you should have never invited Ianthe back to the spring court. I can't. I hate him.
He's really dumb.
If you could see my face, if you're listening, you probably can't see, but my face is just like, I hate him. Mm.
Yeah, honestly, if you are able to, you should watch our videos because we do a lot of we do a lot of facial expressions,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. It's a different, it's come
It's a
on.
different vibe.
It's a different experience. But I will say that I do understand that as we get further and further into this book, Tamlin will start to have a little bit of a redemption arc. And as we go further into the
Mhm.
stories, like, he definitely, like, to me, he has not redeemed himself, but he is on the path to redemption. So I will acknowledge that. But just like for where we are at right now for the next week, two, because all of part one, even a lot of part two, like, there is so many things that Tamlin does where I'm just like, bitch ass motherfucker. Like, not
Mhm.
here for it. So, keep you posted.
Tamlin has, like, the biggest fuckboy energy.
It's giving Chad.
It's yeah. It's it's okay, this is so random and kinda niche, but if y'all watch any Netflix dating reality TV show and it's always those really gross frat guys, that's Tamlin. He would be
Yeah.
perfect on a Netflix dating show 'cause
He would
he's
be all in there.
problematic as fuck.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I see all these posts that are like, us book talk girls, we love a toxic man. And that is true. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and argue with
That
you about
is
that. It is true, but we don't like this toxic man. Okay. This is different for me. For me. I don't like this kind of toxic man. Okay. There's not a whole lot going on
yeah.
here that is appealing to me.
I don't like men who are not consensual, and I don't like men who put their hands on women and try to hurt them.
I'm gonna withhold my tongue on that because I've read some crazy shit that I did, but it was all consensual. So
Eh,
there's levels, okay? But anyways, yeah, we don't non-consensual shit is just not not it. But anyways, okay, moving on. Somebody we do love, even though he's not perfect. Bless his little heart. Lucian, we get some more scenes with Lucian. And I'm feeling so bad for my boy right now because he's like
Mhm.
pining over Elaine and like he's worried about her. He can't get to her. And he's having to like, I think he really knows what's going on with Reese. I think that Lucian is way more aware than Tamlin is. So Lucian isn't just so quick to believe that Reese is this horrible fucking person. Alice noticed as well. Anybody who has fucking eyes can see that when Feyre left, she was literally a half of a fucking person. And now that she's
Mhm.
back, she's a fucking full blown human being. And let's be real here, it's not the time back with Tamlin that's doing that for her. So anybody who has eyes can tell that like this lie that she's spinning, it's so interesting to me that all these people are just believing this because it's like it doesn't really make any sense. Like, she was frail, depressed, barely a shell of her fucking self. And now she's back and she's painting again and she's gained weight and she's got muscle and she's healthy and she's speaking up for herself. And she still plays into the timid, oh, I'm just so timid and quiet. Like, she plays that up, but she also has so many moments where she comes out of that, like when she's giving Jurian shit or she's talking shit to the Diamati twins or even when she's standing up to Tamlin a little bit. So it's, I don't know, Lucian sees more, but he's just having to trust that his mate is safe with these people that Feyre's like, they ruined me. They were so cruel to me and they used me and made me do things I didn't want to do. And it's, girl, I don't think Lucian really believes that, but that's what he's supposed to be believing. So at the end of the day, Lucian's really just trying to get back to Elaine. Like, he cares about Tamlin, he cares about his friend. Something we've noted about Lucian many times before is that he's loyal almost to a fault. So he definitely, I think, doesn't want to hurt Tamlin, but he's got bigger shit going on right now. He's all about trying to get back to his girl. And I think he's trying to get in Feyre's good graces because he knows that's her sister. That's important.
I love Lucien. I love that he has, like, such a big presence in these chapters.
Mhm.
Also, like, just him I'm side-eyeing Tamlin because 'cause I'm like, why is Lucian the one that's actually there for Feyre? Like, where I know she's doing that on purpose, but, like,
Yeah.
what
Are you talking
why
about during the nightmare?
like, no, just in general, the entire time, it's like she's always with Lucian, she's barely with Tamlin, like
Yeah.
and anyway, I love Lucian, he's so
Yeah.
sweet, but he's really having his, "Oh, fuck, I think I might be on the wrong side" moment where he's
Mhm.
like, "These people are fucking weird." So, he's definitely him and Farrah's friendship is just, like, growing from this
Mhm.
moment, and he's still finding his voice, which I know we talked a lot about in our ACOTAR book 1 episodes that, like, he had a hard time speaking out, but now he is. He doesn't care what Tamlin says. He literally was, like, asking Ianthe, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Even though Tamlin was, like, looking at him, "Don't say that." "No, fuck you. What is she doing here?" He doesn't like her either. And I'm sorry, just the way that he literally had to sleep with her.
Oh, yeah, that's so disgusting. After wait, I guess that was before he knew that she betrayed his mate, but still, that's still just ugh.
Yeah.
He didn't want
Ew.
to. The fact that Tamlin made him do that's something I didn't talk about with Tamlin, but it's like Tamlin made him go in his place because he was like, I'm missing Feyre." He made him do it. That's your responsibility, bro. This is your weird ass tradition. How are you gonna put that on Lucian? I can't. I can't.
Oh, man.
I can't.
Oh, man. I can't, dude. That was probably so awful for Lucian. I fucking hate Ianthe. And the way literally that the book is, oh, Ianthe seems to back off from Lucian now. I'm like, that's so gross. I'm like, you literally, you were like obsessed with him, and now you're like, oh, I got what I want, so I'm gonna back up now.
Mhm. She does try
Girl,
again to, like, really try to get but I think
yeah,
that's only when she starts to I think that's only because she thinks that Feyre wants him because of the way that Feyre is, like, planning all of this and manipulating all of this, so it's because even Brianna at one point makes the comment, "I would pick the autumn one
mhm,
too," and I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah,
so would I."
same.
Yeah, I think all of us would, but I just think that that's the only reason that she, like, rekindles her interest is because it's, "I want what you can't have," like, kinda thing, or, "I want the" she's like Tamlin, like, "Shiny new toy," like, "I want it's all about me." Um, it's giving pick me. Anyways.
It's so pick me. It's so pick me.
It's bad. It's bad.
Okay, anyway,
So,
Lucian,
yeah.
I love him. He's having his moments. I will say I do feel a little bit bad for him because the way that, like, Feyre, like, definitely manipulated him in the last part, and now he's, "Oh," like, that looked really bad when Tamlin
Mhm.
walked in,
Oh, she
and this
straight up
bitch is like
used him.
I know. I was like, "Oh my god." I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, "Feyre, come on, girl, like, don't do it
Yeah.
to Lu." But he probably was like, "Oh, man, I'm gonna be in some deep shit with Tamlin."
Yeah, but
He
Feyre and
didn't do anything. Just try to be a nice friend.
I no, I agree, like, she definitely like, that's there's a couple parts where I was like, "Damn," like, she's going in. She really is, like, doing anything to accomplish this goal that she has, and so I'm
Yeah.
like, she's just like too she's not gonna fuck, like, I'm doing what I gotta do, like, it's about me getting my
Mhm.
revenge, and some of the stuff is a little bit like, goddamn, but at the same time, I feel like she genuinely I don't think she thinks she's putting Lucian at risk really, because I think if she did, she wouldn't have done that. I think she just knew that it was going to piss Tamlin off. I don't think that she thought that Tamlin would actually do anything about it. And in her mind, she might even be thinking that Lucian isn't long for the spring court anyways, because he's already mated with Elaine. Like, we
Right.
all know where shit goes from here. I do feel like Feyre really does love Lucian and care
Mhm.
about him as a friend. But yeah, I'm with you. That was like even a step where I was like, God damn, bitch, you, because he could have gone the fuck off. Now, at the same time, Feyre probably also believes that she could protect Lucian. And I do agree that
Mhm.
Feyre versus Tamlin right now, I'm thinking Feyre might come out on top in that battle. Okay. That's actually what I would love to see.
Period.
I would have loved to see that shit, especially if Lucian joins in. But I'm like, yeah, can they just fight with their powers? Because I low key, I would want to see that. She would just crush Tamlin, and I would be here for it.
Yeah, 100%. Period. Fuck him up, sis.
For real. Like she would just, I'd be like, oh, you think I'm weak? You think I'm just stupid little Feyre? You want to keep me down? You want to stop me from escalating and learning how to use my abilities because you don't want me to be stronger than you? Guess what, bitch? Sucks to suck. I am. Oh, I would have loved it, but alas, that doesn't happen. So, moving on to Jurian. Jurian is a very interesting character. Yeah, what do you think about Jurian?
Jerry's just he's a character.
Yeah, yeah,
He's He's not to me, he's not super interesting. I do the fact that he is actually on King of Hybern's side this whole time. Cool, because he definitely does a really good job making me believe that he was. When we learned about that switch up, I was like, oh fuck,
yeah,
Dragon's been good the whole time. But I don't know. It's so funny too because I know like how he's supposed to look, but I picture him as the Prince Charming from Shrek.
Oh,
Like
no.
the blonde
Yeah,
guy, but he's supposed to have, like, brown hair, but I'm like, I don't know.
yeah. I know,
He's
yeah.
like that bland, like, white piece of bread looking character for me. I don't really
Same.
care too much about him, to be honest. Like, I don't dislike him. I'm not like, "Woo, I'm so excited to learn about him," I guess,
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. I don't know.
yeah. I
That's really all I
really
have to say about him.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I really like Jurian. I like Jurian. I like his story. I like his backstory, like the betrayal of his girl who like left him for another
Mhm.
dude because he was so invested in the war, like he couldn't get his head out of his ass. And like I don't know. I love that like he basically I don't love this. This kind of makes him a piece of shit, but he's just so interesting to me. He's such an interesting character, but like the way that he like got with Amarantha's sister. And then that
Mm.
was fucked up, that whole story. But it's very like interesting. That's like this whole time, it's whose side are you really on? Are you a good guy? Are you not a good guy? I don't picture him like that. I very much picture him more, I don't even know, just dark skin, not dark skin, but like dark hair. I don't know. Like he's not like super attractive or anything like that in my mind, but he's just a average, like dark haired, whatever guy. Like not ugly, not like
Mhm.
super, super hot. Cause he's a human. So he's a human in the world of Fae. He can only be so attractive in my mind. But yeah, I don't know. I just like that he's smart, he's cocky. I like the little shit that he does to instigate stuff. He's always got some snide comment to make, like when he's just, I don't know, he just says what he wants without fear of repercussion. He's here to mix shit up. I that. He also thinks the twins are weird, I think, that he's just like playing along with them. He's just, yeah, I don't know. I'd like that. I'd like the kind of character that he is, the way he's like playing both sides. You don't really know if he's good or he's evil.
Mhm.
Even when he is good, he's still bad. I don't know. I like him, but mostly I just like his little snide comments to everybody because it's like everything he says is true and they all get so worked up over it. It's just like fucking hilarious. Like, I don't know. I like Jury and he's adding to the story for me right now. So, yeah, but he's not like a huge part of the overall. I mean, he's a really big part of the fact of like why they're able to like win in the end, but at the same time it's
Mhm.
not like he's throughout this whole story super important character wise. I don't know, his actions matter more than necessarily him as a person, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know. Just there, but we'll
yeah,
see. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. Some of those comments are just so funny to me. It's like what he just, I can't even remember right now, but whatever he said to like Lucian about his eye, and then they're at the dinner table as he's like giving Lucian shit, and then it evolves a bigger argument, but really he was just trying to distract him the whole time. I was like, this guy's kind of, I don't know, like this guy. But yeah, I totally get not liking him either. He's not somebody that I'd be like, oh God, he's the best. Like I need to defend him. It's okay. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I'm neutral about him. I'm neutral, but
Yeah.
so a new characters we have met this chapter, unfortunately, is the twins. They're very weird, make me really uncomfortable. Um,
I like them,
they're
bro.
you what? Did you say you do like them or you don't like
I like what they bring to the story. They're weird, bro.
Oh,
They're
okay,
weird.
you like what they bring to the story, but do you like their character?
No,
I can see what you mean when they're just weird as
they're
fuck.
fucking weird.
I'm
They're
like, "What the
fucking
fuck?"
weird.
Literally in the first 5 chapters, we're learning about
I
incest, like, of
literally
these twins probably. They don't say, but I'm like, "Okay, they're sharing a bed." And then when
it's
Ianthe walks in, literally Farrah's oh, they don't even look at her.
which is
And
also I
she,
wouldn't
like
look at that bitch either, but
same, but, they're, like, obsessed with each other. They're obsessed
yeah,
with each other. I'm like,
the minute that they get there and they're like, "We have your rooms prepared." And they're like, "We will be sharing a room." I was like, "Jamie, Cersei." I was like, "This shit." I was like,
Mhm.
"These motherfuckers touch each other, okay?" I do not know what is going on with these two weirdos, but like, it is fucking it's literally like Jamie and Cersei. I don't like them, but I like what they're bringing to the story. I don't know. They're
Mhm.
fucking weird, dude. It's every time they're on the page, I'm like, what the fuck are these two weirdos fucking doing over here?
We're weird. And not to mention, they also are daimoni, so, like, they can talk to each other, which is supposed to be, like, rare. So that's a thing that we have to worry about, but thankfully, Farah, she's strong, and she can cut that shit off real quick, which they were shocked by. They were like,
Yeah, I love
"The
that
fuck?"
part. I love the imagery of that part of, like, them, like, trying to, like, while they're distracted, go into Lucian and Tamlin's minds, but, like, her, like,
Yeah.
deading that shit and then going into their mind and, like, scratching against their own shields. I love that imagery, but yeah, that I definitely got thoughts on them, but other than the fact that they're just fucking weird, but, like, also low key, like, I said it 3 times now. I like what they're doing for the story at this part because it's, like, this kinda, like, side thing it just makes me question a lot about what the fuck is going on over in the King of Highburns area
Mhm.
over here. I'm like, what do you really have going on over here? I feel like we haven't really delved into everything that's happening on this little island over here. Like, it's some weird
Yeah.
shit going on. And the fact that like they're prince and princess, but we've never heard of these two bitches until this, and nobody else has ever heard of them. And she says they're two bodies with one soul. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I picture them like when they sleep, they don't really sleep. There's some weird shit going on with the two of them. It's just very, it's so, but I like it. It's weird, but I'm like, it's weird, but I'm like, this is good. This is good. This is some weird shit that this story needed, like, to mix shit up a little bit. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on
True.
it.
True, true.
Oh, but yeah, no, every time she talks about them, I'm just like, "What the fuck is going on with these 2 bro?" We share 1 bedroom, like, "Alright, you got a little bit worked up over that, like,
Yeah.
okay. You didn't really need to announce it to the whole world. One of y'all coulda just gone down the hall into the other one's room." Maybe it's a protection thing. They,
Girl,
like,
I
watch
don't
each
think
other's
so.
backs or something, like, they probably sleep in shifts or something, but yeah, no, it's low key giving Lannister. But okay, moving on. So now that we talked about all of our side characters and new characters and whatnot, we can move on to the main characters, which I still think are favorite in Rhysand, but especially Rhys in this first part is taking a big back seat because she's not at the night court
Mhm.
right now. He's not even really around her. It's like how Tamlin was the main character in the first book and he took a big back seat in the second book because she's with Rhys now switching. But we get a little bit of mention of Rhysand in these books just from we still get some of their banter and their relationship when they talk down the bond the couple times that they do. And then we get like a really beautiful kind of like haunting moment with Rhys in the prologue when he's determined to search the battlefield and check every single Illyrian wings or person he can see to make sure that it's not one of his brothers on the battlefield. And I think that just goes to show like how strong his relationship is with the two of them. Cause this is 500 years ago. This is such a long time ago that this isn't like they would have still been young at this point, like not just young, oh, like we look young, no, like we're literally like in our 20s probably when this is going on. It just shows like how long they've been brothers, how much they really love each other. The fact that he would even like they can't burn the bodies until I check every single fucking person to make sure my brother's not fucking out here. And just like his resolve too to do that, because at that point he was like so weak and so drained from the battle that he had just had to basically he didn't single-handedly win. He very much acknowledges all the life that was given and all the people that fought alongside him, but he did have to step up in a big way to really win that battle because they were losing. So I just really like that she threw that in there and that we got to see that different, more serious, like warrior side of Rhysand than we typically get, like the kind of cocky, like I'm the High Lord Rhysand.
Yeah, I feel like her putting that as a prologue, it's almost foreshadowing, like, the big war that's about to happen
Mm,
with everyone, because like, we do finally get to see Rhysand, Cassian, and Asriel, like, full on, like, in their warrior self. Like, we've always heard about them
mhm.
being these amazing fighters, and we finally get to see them, like, on the battlefield. So, I really like that prologue, though.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like, "Oh my god," he, like, mentioned that he saw someone that looked like Cassian, and it wasn't him, and he was super relieved, and I'm just like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. It's so heartbreaking, and it's so, like, just shows and even the fact, like, it shows there's so much from that, like, little tiny prologue that's, like, just, like, about from a time 500 fucking years ago, but it just shows so
Mhm,
much. It shows, like, what a piece of shit Reese's dad is. It shows, like, the love
mhm,
between Cassian, Az, and Rhysand, like, it shows just how powerful fucking Reese is, like, in a battle. Like I said,
mhm.
like, he didn't single-handedly win that, but he's the reason that they won it, and not just him, but also the Illyrians themselves. Like, it definitely is some foreshadowing and all of that for just, like, what we learned in this book and just, like, how strong the Illyrian units are, like, compared to regular human units or even other Fey units, and just shows how Reese's dad was a fucking asshole, like all the High Lords were at that point. It seems like the generation of High Lords before them were just fucking terrible. So, I don't know, but makes me wonder how long Thiessen and Helion have been High Lords. 'Cause I feel like Callias was newer and Tarquin we know is, like, brand new.
Yeah, that's one.
And then
I
Tamlin
don't
is
know.
stuck in his fucking like, he was raised by a piece of shit and he can't let that
Mhm.
go. But yeah, I don't know. But I did love that scene. I thought it was really, like, poignant, especially to put it at the beginning of the book because, like, we don't see Rhysand for a little bit now.
Yeah, we really don't. So
But other than that, I will say we talked a lot about Feyre just throughout the side character portion because of
mhm.
because obviously book is from her point of view, so she's the one who's interacting with all of these people that we get to meet throughout the book. Like, we're always getting it from her perspectives. Obviously, you talked about it a lot, but she's definitely in this part, she's definitely, like, manipulating people. Like, she is playing the long game, dude. Like, she is I actually like I said, she's like an Oscar award-winning actress. Like, she's, like, straight up, like, she's doing, like, little things. She's thinking about things that were scary for her, so she'll smell fear because the Fae can smell emotions on you. She's really fucking honing in on this. She's using Tarquin's powers to fucking make it look like she's crying because she can get salt water and not just water, because if it's just water, you'll know no salt water coming out of her eyes and just she's playing this at such a high level, like using her wind abilities when no one's paying attention to move the rock a little bit so Ianthe's not in the fucking right place. Like, it's just like, girl, like this girl is like so cunning right now, and she is not telling anybody else her plans. She's not. Like, nobody's helping her with this. This is all Feyre, and this is where I think I've said it many times, but I've always looked at Feyre as like a morally gray character. I feel like she gets a lot of not flack. What's the opposite? Like, people give her a lot of like leeway, like for being like for all of the kind of morally gray shit she's done up until this point. She's not like a morally great character, but this is where you're really starting to see, oh, this bitch
Mhm.
will do. She will do what it takes to get like her goal accomplished, or if she feels like she needs to do something, like she will sacrifice some of those moral qualities in order to get the job done. So I think that we're definitely getting to see a lot of that now. But honestly, I love it. I'm here for it. I really love this part of this book. Like, it's fucked up some of the stuff she does, but I'm low key go off, queen. Go off.
Period. Yeah, good for her.
They hurt your mate. They hurt you. They hurt your sisters. Go off, queen. They brought it on themselves. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Tamlin deserves that.
Yeah.
I will say, Farah did say during these chapters that she has no beef with the people who live in the Screen Court.
Hmm.
She just has beef with King of Hybern and
And
Tamlin. So,
and I am the yeah.
as
As
she
she
should.
should, and all the people that are trying to hurt the humans, because Feyre is
Yeah.
very protective of the human realm, even though her family
Mhm.
doesn't live there anymore. She still came from there. She's still a human, and she's very protective of, like, those people, especially because I feel like Feyre, even though she is morally gray, she is somebody who wants to defend people that can't defend themselves, and I feel like that's because she's been that person, so she can relate, and she,
Mhm.
like, feels that very powerfully. I feel like Nesta has that quality too, in the later books, so
Yeah. I'm sure Elaine will too at some point. That would make so much sense.
I like Elaine, but she's a little vapid. I don't know if she's aware enough to be, like, concerned about the humans. Like, she's giving
Dude, I think she's gotta be aware.
unaware.
It wouldn't surprise me if she maybe has been, like, playing that role maybe. I think she is definitely that timid, quiet person, but I think that she's one of those quiet people who's quiet because she's analyzing,
I feel like that will
potentially.
make me like her less if I
Oh,
find out.
really?
I won't if she just sat back and didn't do anything but noticed a lot more stuff. Like, that would make me judge her a little bit more, because it's like it's one thing when it's, "Oh, your head's in the clouds and you're not really paying attention and you're immature. It's another thing when it's you sat back and you witnessed what was going on and you just chose not to say anything because you were analyzing. Like that'll make me view her a little bit like worse, honestly. We shall see. I definitely think Elaine before the cauldron and Elaine after the cauldron are different people. So there's that too.
Yeah, yeah, I think she's definitely different, especially after she gets out of her depressive state
Mhm.
and she has her seer abilities. I'm like, "Okay."
Mhm. Yeah, like, maybe now she's more analytical. I just can't think
Yeah,
of, like, when she was, like,
that's what I
just,
meant.
like, the rich little girl, like, Nesta's little sidekick. If she was, like, aware, that makes me judge her a little bit more.
No, I meant, like, after.
After
I don't mean I think before she, like, seriously was very after the cauldron, she has had to learn oh, like, she also had to live through a fucking war, so I think that
Yeah.
probably
Trauma,
made her be
man.
like so I think that's what I meant. I think maybe she's going to potentially stay in that same personality type, but
Mhm.
really she's gonna turn out to be this, like, Asriel, this silent, almost person who will come at you when you're not expecting it.
That's different. I would
It'd
like
be
that.
kinda
I would
cool.
like that. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I would cry.
And it would make yeah, I would like that. Yeah. That I could get behind. And it makes sense because, of course, you're not gonna be the same person as you were before all this shit happened.
Mhm.
Feyre's not the same person, Nesta's not the same person. It would be really weird if Elaine was the same person. So, I am
Right.
definitely
No, there's no way. We just went on, like, a whole tangent about Elaine.
I
She wasn't even
know.
in
She
this.
wasn't even in it. She wasn't even like, all that they cared about was, like, Lucian checking on her, but I
Yeah.
love these books. One of the main reasons that I love ACOTAR so much is because of all the fucking different characters and different people. Even if you don't like them all, they're just all so fucking interesting, and they all play off of each other. I like the relationship dynamics and just the way people change because all of these characters just they have growth, they devolve, they go I don't know. It's great storytelling. With that, speaking of storytelling, basically these first few chapters, I will say they don't have as much foreshadowing, world building and stuff because it is just like starting off. And a lot of this stuff was already foreshadowed or things that we already knew from the last couple books. It wasn't like we got a whole lot of new information, but there is a couple things. So I want to go ahead and start with just the prologue. Now, this was something I wasn't even sure if I wanted to include because I feel like we never ever hear about this again, and it's never been mentioned before this. But
It was never end.
yeah, Ravinia was the territory of Fae that was located on the continent. And in the war 500 years ago, the war that Reese and Az and Cass, like the first war before the wall was built, that was about the fight to keep human slaves. Like they fought in it and they were part of the loyalist side that wanted to keep slaves. So after they lost, basically, like they were like not decimated, but like they just didn't exist anymore. I don't know if they got absorbed into another territory, they got given to the human lands. Whatever the case is, we don't really get a whole lot of information on it, but they are mentioned in the prologue when Reese specifically says that it was their forces that he was fighting against in the prologue. So I just wanted to mention it and explain what that was in case you were wondering, because it's literally not mentioned again in any of the books. And it hasn't been mentioned before this. So it was just thrown in there. I'm wondering if it
Yeah, that
will
was
come back.
super random. Maybe.
I'm curious.
It was very random. I was like, "We have we heard of this place before?" And I'm like, "No, we definitely have not."
Nope,
The
nope,
fuck?
and it doesn't come back up again in this book. I know it doesn't come up in the next 2 books, and
Mhm.
I'm just like, I don't know, but it does make me kinda question just why if it's important enough to give it a name, it almost makes you feel
Mhm.
like it's gonna
Hmm.
come back in some way, so I'm definitely very curious about it. I'll be keeping my eyes out, see if it adds up to anything.
The only other, like, big foreshadowing that I wanted to point out was, during one of the chapters, Feyre does say or yeah, basically I think it was the twins, the creepy ass twins were saying that the cauldron is still at the King of Hybern's palace because it has to basically charge back up or and heal itself
Mhm,
because like the power has been drained from it. And Farah literally says, quote, turning my sisters into Fae had drained it. And we know that is directly because Nesta took power from it. So
mhm.
I'm just like, I wonder if that's gonna mean anything for future books because the cauldron's still a thing. Like it's still a thing. And I'm like, what if the way to what if they're gonna have to take the power again and just completely diminish it from its power where it can't? get its power back. I don't know. That's me
Yeah.
just thinking. But I'm just like,
It's definitely still in play. They hid it with Miriam and Draken
yeah,
so they could keep it safe from the rest of the world, but it's definitely still a magical object that's in play, and it's not just a magical object, it's fucking
it's like
important. Really, it's like the magical object in this fucking
great.
world. So, anything that has the power to literally bring somebody back to life from a fucking finger and an eyeball, that's probably pretty fucking powerful. Like, you just reconstructed the rest of this motherfucker's whole body just because you had his soul and his eyeball and his fucking finger. So I don't like I don't know what the cauldron like in its abilities are beyond our really even our understanding, I think, of all the things that it can do. Even though we have a pretty good idea, it literally based on the portrait in Tamlin's office in the first book, it's how the fucking world started. Basically, this world specifically. So I don't know. Very interesting. I'm definitely not taking it off the table. I think it's still in
I think
play.
the cauldron's gonna come back, I think, for sure,
Honestly,
actually.
I feel
100%
like
to come
it could
back.
have something to do with Elaine too. I don't know. I'm so fucking
Yeah,
curious about her
me
story. I
too.
need it. I need it. Sarah, make the fucking announcement. At least give us a title so I can be like prepared. Like, I need to know. I need to know.
Like gnawing at my fingertips, like, when she
Yeah.
releases it. God. Okay, anyway.
Anywho,
Fine, we
okay.
only have to wait.
Another
You know, it's
year at the most. Don't worry about it. No, really a year and a
okay.
half. A year and a half at the most. I can't.
We've already been waiting years too. I'm like, "Bitch, I'm gonna be 30."
Girl, girl.
Dude, it's crazy because when the last ACOTAR book came out, I was 23,
I'll
22.
say I was your age. I was 27.
Now now I'm gonna be potentially I could potentially be 29
Yeah.
when the next book comes
I'm
out.
in my 30s, okay? I was in my 20s and now I'm in my 30s, okay? Like the transition has already happened for me. I'm like, I cannot, it can't be like now I'm in my 40s and my 50s waiting on these fucking books.
Straight up. Okay, anyway, so sorry, y'all, but, like, it
Tangent.
had to be said.
Sorry.
We have to be getting impatient. I'm getting a little bit impatient and frustrated with it, to be honest. It's kind
Yeah.
of I see all these other releases, and I'm like, "Oh, okay. What
Yeah.
about ACOTAR?"
Yeah. The only thing that I feel like I said, I've said this in other episodes, is just I'm trying to be graceful because I'm like, she did just give us a book, but it's not the Akatar book. And let's be real
Yeah,
here. Imagine if it had taken 5 years between Empire of Storms and Kingdom of Ash.
yeah, but still, it was such, like, a clickbait, honestly, of a book.
It really was.
Anyway, so the last thing really quick before we get into some theories is that also Feyre during these chapters is relaying information to Rhysand when she can, but she can't do it often because they can't be able to detect her magic when she's doing it. But in terms with that, Feyre is having to tell the creepy ass twins and Jurian kind of a little bit about the night court because they're asking her and she's just, oh, I gotta like something,
Mhm.
but she's giving very much half truths to everything. So, like, for example, she was giving them the name that they thought was the most powerful Illyrian like warband, but actually it was the weakest. Like, she's really driving them in the wrong direction of what they need to know. Like she's not necessarily I guess she is lying, but
Yeah.
she's being very sneaky about it. And
Mhm.
that definitely comes in terms later. Just knowing that she's giving a shit ton of misinformation about the night court when in reality that shit ain't true.
Mhm. Yep, yep. Feyre, like I said, y'all, she is cunning in these
Mhm.
chapters. Like one thing is I never would have taken her for that kind of like intelligence. Not that she was dumb, but just that that's a different level of intelligence to be able to come up with these things on the fly and make these plans and manipulate people to the point where you're using them against each other and they don't even fucking know it. It's very smart. It's very smart. And I just didn't see that in Feyre before this book, probably. So it's just, I don't know, spending time in the night court has turned her into a smooth criminal because she's killing it. And I'm here for it. I'm here for this era of Feyre. This is when I really like Feyre, and this is some of my favorite moments of hers, like, when she's doing shit like this, and it just shows that she is a strong character on her own, and it's not necessarily about, like, I mean, it's still very much about who she's with, but right now, it's very much about Feyre
Mhm.
being strong on her own and making shit happen on her own. And even it through the whole beginning of the next part, like when she's traveling with Lucian and whatnot, we get to see even more of that and just how strong and cunning and a warrior and yeah, just how strong she really is.
Oh my gosh, side note, I'm so excited to talk about
When Cassian and
when she
Asriel
gets
show up on
yes!
the ice. Oh, I
I'm
know.
gonna
It's an
throw up.
iconic moment. Iconic moment. It's so
Oh
good.
my
This book
god.
has a
That's when I
few
was like
iconic moments.
"Oh, I love Cassian.
Yeah.
This is my man." Oh, anyway. Oh my god, I can't wait. The fan art of that scene is like,
Yeah.
ugh, damn good. I'm like, "Bro, can I get, like, almost killed and hello?
Yeah,
Hello?"
literally, like, she's fighting
Ugh.
they just fucking show up, "Doosh."
Yeah, break the ice. I'm like,
Doo-doosh.
"Okay."
Like, yeah, that's gonna be really fucking fun. So, this book has so many fun parts to talk about. That's
Dude,
why I'm, like, the most excited to do this book than the ones
this
we've
book
covered
is
so far.
it was so fucking good. There's so many good scenes. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. So before we get into our spoiler warning, I want to bring up one kind of theory. It doesn't include any spoilers about any of our other books. It's just ACOTAR, okay, y'all? But I wanted to bring up because I never thought about this before. And I was like, okay, this has been mentioned too many times just in these 5 chapters for it to not mean shit. And I do know it is mentioned again a little bit in Aqua War, but I wanted to bring up Lucian's eye.
Mhm.
There's questions about his eye, and he does say later on in this book that his eye allows him to see spells. And also, Feyre questions what does she think he can see with his eye during these chapters?
Mhm.
And I'm just like, okay, does that mean that like this whole time like when Feyre goes back to the Supreme Court, the reason why he's very much looking at her in that kind of way is because he can see that she's put a glamour on herself and she actually is Rhysand's mate and he can see the tattoo
Ooh.
potentially,
Yeah, I've never thought about that, but it would make a lot of sense. There's
right?
even a part where she talks about, like, when she's in his room and she mentions the glamour on her arm, and she doesn't say he can see it or anything like that, but it's just very interesting that, yeah, if he could see spells and
Mhm.
he could see things like that, I don't know, it's very interesting
I hope we get
what
to
that could be.
see yeah, I hope we get to see more of him and his powers because, like, honestly, we haven't really seen anything
Mhm.
of his powers.
I'm wondering too if that's why if the fact that he's Helian's son is why he can see spells and stuff with it, because Helian is technically the spell breaker, like, he's supposed to be super
Mhm.
talented with spells and whatnot. That's not really a
Right.
trait of the Day Court where the Eye was made or the Autumn Court where he's supposed to be from or whatever, so it does make me wonder if that's part of, like, his abilities that he gets from Helian that he doesn't even realize that's what's
Mhm.
happening, but yeah, that is really interesting and something that, like, I didn't even key into until this last read was just, like, how much his eye could really be doing other than just looking
Right.
around for him, like
I never thought about it, but I'm like, "Oh, that's honestly such, like, a good point." I'm like, w like, he probably is able to see things that I've never even thought about.
mhm,
I'm just like, "Oh god." I'm like, "Why did I not ever think of that?" But, yeah, when I was reading this, I was just like, "There's too many times people are asking him about his fucking eye,
yep.
that it doesn't mean something." So, hopefully, we get to see more of what he can do in the future because 'cause I'm like, I I know he's gonna fuck shit up at some point, so I need to see it.
This next book, if it's
Please.
Elaine's book, will probably be his time to shine. We'll probably get to see a lot of shit that the both of them can do that we're unaware of at this
Mhm.
point, so definitely excited for that.
Also, is there gonna be a connection between his eye and Elaine being a seer?
That would be crazy. That would be wild. What if he can see what she can see with his eye?
Yeah.
Like, something
I don't
like
know, just,
that.
like
I don't know. the
Anyway.
possibilities. So,
Okay, period.
all right, guys, that was a lot of fun talking about all those characters and whatnot. That we haven't done this in a minute, so that was a good time. That being said, we have one theory, and we're gonna get into it now. I want to go ahead and give a spoiler warning and just thank you for staying with us up until this point. But if you have not read all of the books in Sarah J. Maas's universe, then we would want you to exit now. We don't want to spoil anything for anybody. And we will have spoilers for all 3 book series, bonus chapters, any content, anything that has been put out up until this point. So if you're not all the way caught up with the universe and all of the books and everything, come back and join us in the next episode. Thanks for being here. But okay, let's get into it. This is Ellie's theory, but I definitely also believe this theory, and I have a lot of like context for why and just
Okay,
what it
period.
means.
I love that. Okay, I will say, y'all, there's not many. We are just in the first chapters of this book, so there's not too much to talk about. But I do have to talk about the creepy ass twins because I'm like, okay, the way that they have the long black hair and basically black eyes. Also, they're related to the King of Highburn, who we have theorized could potentially be a Vogue or a Siri or Daglin,
Mhm.
whatever the fuck, one of those three.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
um, yeah. So it made me wonder if maybe the twins are also one of those creatures because of how they look and how they're portrayed. It would just make sense. Also, I don't know if this means anything. If it is just stupid play on words, but I'm like, okay,
No, I thought that was funny.
why the fuck is his name Dagden?
Yeah.
Does that not just scream, "Oh, I'm a Daglin"? Like, I hate it. I hate it.
That is funny.
There's
That
one
was
letter
such a good point,
change.
and
That's
that
it.
was such a good point. But up until this point, we haven't even heard of the Daglin, so who's to say that
Right.
that wasn't, like, unintentional? I don't know, but
Mhm.
I am pretty sure that Hybern itself is just a Vogue colony. I'm not even being funny. Everybody from
Okay.
over there is Vogue,
Yeah,
and
'cause Amarantha too.
Amarantha, the twins, I don't think they're really the king of Hybern's niece and nephew. If anything, I feel like the Vogue that possess them are
Ooh.
actually related,
Yeah.
but, like, they're like the bodies are not that. There's so many, like, just little, like, things that she says in these chapters that lead me to believe this. Again, obviously, we don't get to see them bleed or I don't remember if she says their eyes are black, but you've already touched on it a little bit, but high fae in
Mhm.
appearance. W Why does she specifically say in appearance? Okay, and also, there's a point earlier in one of the earlier books where Reese is talking about Amarantha, I think it was the first book, and he says, "She loves to mess with our kind." As in not her kind.
Mhm.
And so this is just like
Mhm.
another like little play on that to me where it's like, why is she specifying in appearance? Their skin the same ruddy hue and hair the identical inky black as their king, but it was their vacant, unfeeling faces that snagged the eye, a lack of emotion, honed trim millennia of cruelty. So obviously they're old, like they're the black hair. She doesn't mention their black eyes, but to me, it's giving that feeling. All the art of them gives them like those super dark, if not black eyes. Then there's a part again later in chapter 3 where they're on their way to the wall. And Feyre specifically points out that the spring woods fell silent as we rode between the budding trees, birds and small furred beasts having darted for cover long before we passed. Not from me or Lucian or the 3 sentries trailing a respectful distance behind, but from Jurian and the 2 Highburn commanders who rode in the center of our party, as if they were as awful as the bog, as the Naga. There is something about these motherfuckers that is beyond just whatever. If nature's tuned into it, if the animals and the nature can sense that like they're off, then to me that means it's just more proof that like these people are not they're not regular fae. And it just seems to be a running theme with Highburn and people that come from Highburn that they're not right. Like the same as everybody else. And so I'm very interested. And as always, as we talked about so many times before, Rhysand knows more than he fucking shares, dude. I don't know if he knows what they are. Like, he did spend a lot of time with Amarantha. He would have had a lot of time to go in her mind and maybe find out some things that we're not privy to yet. But I am just very almost certain that whatever is going on over there, they're not Fae like the rest of Prithian.
Mhm. For sure.
I wonder if it's like a
Yeah.
portal to the Vogue worlds, if that's how the Vogue I don't know. I don't know.
I don't either. Let me looking at my map really quick.
Yeah,
Let me
imagine if that
see.
whole if Hybern is just it's like Mordor, like it's a fucking it's where the evil shit lives.
Like,
There's a straight up portal there where they can bring Vogue from other worlds. I don't know, but it's very much giving that feeling to me. And they use
right.
word mark.
Do they?
I think so. I think that's part of what there was
Interesting.
like what they were protected by, like at the end of the second book when they're like she talks about like his wards were like in the castle or whatever and she had to break them.
Oh, okay, I see what
Like
you're saying.
I feel like they use word marks and they have a book of word marks. And I feel like the spell that Amarantha cast on everybody, I feel like that was using word mark magic and stuff. And that's why it's different from
Hmm.
the magic that the other Fae possess.
Hope we dude, I'm like, hope we find out more about this. It's also like part of me wishes that Amryn went to the King of Hybern castle with them because she, I think, can see or know what word marks are
Mhm.
because of when they were in the summer court and Pharaoh was like, she was doing some crazy shit with some symbols. I was like, oh, that's fucking word marks. A door. It's
Yeah.
a fucking word marks. That's literally what the first thing Aelin does with it is learn how to fucking lock shit. Like, I wish Amber was there. I'm like, Amber, girl, you need to go to the fucking Hybern, please.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a reason she doesn't want to, because Amren's got secrets
Right.
too. I don't know. There's a reason Amren won't go to the prison. I don't know. I have so many
Hmm.
questions, but yeah, I'm really starting to think that everybody from Highburn is it's giving Vogue. It's giving there's people there, but they're like possessed by these Vogue spirits. And so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just really starting to feel that way.
I just found something else. I googled it because I was like, I can't remember how they died, but Farah kills the twins by beheading them. Straight up.
Just saying, bro. If somebody's getting beheaded in this, they're probably a Vogue.
And they're beheaded and they have black hair. They're a fucking fog. Okay.
Tamlin
Like,
or Tamlin like rips Amarantha's head off her body. Nesta cuts off the King of Hybern's head. Feyre beheads the twins. The Weaver, I don't remember how the Weaver and the Bone Carver.
1 second. I just found the chapter. Let me see if. Boop, boop, boop. Doesn't say so far. It says blank vacant eyes. I don't know.
It almost feels like she's specifically not mentioning their eye color because she doesn't want to make it so fucking obvious.
I mean, vacant eyes makes me think that their eyes are black because of the void now.
Yeah.
So
Also,
maybe it's not.
the kings and queens, like the royalty, they have colored eyes, right? They have yellow eyes. Doesn't Erewhon have yellow eyes?
I don't remember.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it doesn't say. Of course, it doesn't fucking say. But I know, I'm pretty sure the Weaver definitely bleeds black. Pretty
Yeah,
sure
she
that we
does.
mentioned that.
She does. When Feyre fights her, she does. I don't know. I feel like a lot of times, like she's leaving out certain details about certain people, and it's because she is like trying not to like make it so obvious. Because it's just oh, if she like made it blatantly obvious that all these people have black blood and all these people, like it would be a little too obvious, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. But I don't know. It's just a theory. It just makes a lot of sense to me.
but they definitely are beheaded. 100%.
That's just so interesting.
Yep, that's probably true. So,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, exactly. Period. It would make so much sense. They're fucking weird too. They're so fucking weird. That's why I was saying, like, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not actually like touching each other, but if they're just like
Well,
in the room, like watching each other's backs, because what if their like bald bodies have to come out or some shit like that? Or
right. But also, I feel like it would make more sense because what if they're like just two Vogues that like just possess these bodies? They're not actually siblings then.
right.
If,
Or they just don't like the bodies are siblings, but the Vogue
yeah,
are
but the actual like
yeah, I could see what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Mm.
But yeah, so I don't know, man.
Just saying, I'm picking up
I don't
on it.
know.
I'm hoping that we get to figure that out because that's the one thing about Silver Flames that like like I didn't love about it was because it's such its own story that like it's not tying into all the questions I still have about the
Mhm.
main series. And I'm like, if these are gonna be the way that you're releasing books, like I need you to tie the main series into it a little bit more because I need answers to questions like this. Like we just don't even talk about Highburn really in Silver Flames. We don't get a whole lot like more information on
Right.
where the cauldron is or all that. We are introduced to Koshai, which I think he is going to end up
Yeah.
being like the big bad of the next thing or whatever. But I really need some more of payoff for some of this shit we didn't get answers to in the next couple books because books are going to be
Same.
taking this long to come out. Like you can't waste 800 pages on not moving the story forward. I really need to
Mhm.
fucking know what's going to happen. So, yeah, anyways, we do hope that you guys enjoyed our discussion today on A Court of Wings and Ruin. It only gets more juicy and more crazy from here. In our next episode, we will be continuing our coverage of Akawar. That being said, please email or DM us anything that you guys want us to talk about based on the upcoming episodes. We do have a schedule out on our Instagram. So if you want to know where we're going to be and following along, you can find that there. And feel free to, like I said, DM or let us know anything that you would want us to talk about relevant to those chapters. Next week, I believe we're doing 6 through 10, and that will be the end of part 1. Finally, again, if you have made it this far and you're still with us, please make sure that you've liked this video, drop a comment below, and make sure that you're subscribed. Or if you're listening on a podcast platform, please review and rate this podcast. And either way, please give us a follow over on our socials. We have TikTok, Instagram, we have so much content over there, so many different books, and we try to stay up to date with a lot of things that are going on in the romantasy community. If you guys want to recommend any books to us, if you want to talk to us personally about any books, that would be the place to do it. So follow us over there. And yeah, we love you guys. Thank you so much. We love this community. We're so excited to be back into ACOTAR and theorizing, and this is like so much fun, even though it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's a good time. So we're excited to be doing that. And then, yeah, as always, we want to go ahead and finish with a quote. So the quote today is: "My rage had become a living thing inside my chest, an echoing heartbeat that soothed me to sleep and stirred me to waking." All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.